I had the feeling that you're going to open up my eyes, but the Spill Canvas is still the first number 13 to hit the board, and hopefully that's not too much of a heartbreaker for you. So All Hail the Heartbreaker and The Tide are absolutely amazing songs. I'm just a big sucker for the acoustic side of emo, and the Spill Canvas did it just as good as anybody. Also, they broke out on 111 Records, which was owned by the members of LFO, and as anybody can tell you, I'm the world's biggest LFO fan. Nick Thomas is also one of my favorite singers of the early 2000s. He's just incredible. I love the emo incarnation of the Spill Canvas, but I'm not really a fan of the weird, easy listening soft rock version of the Spill Canvas. When they got upstream to the Warner Brothers family, they found themselves on tour with like Augustana, the Goo Goo Dolls, One Republic, Switchfoot, and they even did a tour with Emarosa and Yumi at 6 during that time. None of that made any sense to me. Also, the old emo version is like my wife's favorite thing in the world, and she would just leave me for Nick Thomas in a second. I candy coat and cover almost everything, and I'm hiding underneath the fact that the 13th seed on the board next is Forever the Sickest Kids. Why do I put myself in these kind of situations? I always lump these guys into the neon phase of pop punk, and I always enjoyed that song Hey Britney. I also enjoy that they accidentally bought a Pure Volume ad on the front page, and that's kind of what got them signed to Universal Records. That's not really a bad $350 investment if you ask me. I actually enjoy their major label releases way better than anything they put out later when they ended up on Fearless. I think it's because their image never really caught on with the purists of the pop punk kids. Although I always enjoyed the band, I just thought the image was kind of contrived. To me, it was like pop punk music for middle school kids. But going back and listening to it now, it holds up against anything else that was released in that genre at that time. There was a loophole in my dreaming, so I got out of it. And I'm gonna name the most emo band in the world that would never consider themselves emo, a 13 seed. That's Bright Eyes. Simply stated, Conor Oberst is a genius. The guy released 3 albums in 2005 alone. He wrote When the President Talks to God, which is possibly one of my favorite protest songs ever. And he's got other jams out there like The Drunk Kids, The Catholic, and Bowl of Oranges, and they're all great. Bright Eyes, is toured with like Neil Young, Bruce Springsteen, R.E.M., which is really crazy to think about. And I don't know that any other band you'll find on this list has like that kind of crowning achievement and has reached crowds of that magnitude. Unfortunately, while Oberst has all of the pretentiousness and sadness to be the king of the emo sad boys, the band was never really part of the scene. They always paved their own road, and they were kind of secluded to the world of Saddle Creek Records and the mainstream singing duets with the boss on tour type of deal. They're not the first 13 seed to be added to the board, but they're not the last either, and they are from first to last. Sonny Moore.
Ever heard of him?
He's a little DJ producer guy now named Skrillex. These guys are another MySpace success story. Fun fact, Wes from Limp Bizkit was actually their bassist for a while, and their song Emily is so good. They kind of got bigger faster than a lot of bands that were similar to them at the time. I attribute that to them touring outside of their comfort zone with big bands like Fall Out Boy and the Deftones. This like kind of pure screamo stuff was never really my jam, but I always liked these guys.